Hello everybody, and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. So, this is a game about building spaceships and launching them into space. And it's one of the best games I've ever played. It's by a company called Squad, and currently it's on version 0.18.2, and I have several mods installed. Mods are going to be in the description below. I just did a hand gesture pointing downward, but you couldn't see that. I don't know why. Anyway, we shall start a new save, and I shall name it Nick Kerman. Kerman? I believe it's Kerman, like that. If not, I could probably change it somehow. Anyway, so here we have the Kerbal Space Center. Here we have the space plane hangar, where you build space planes from, obviously, and launch them off that runway. Here you have the vehicle assembly building, which you build rockets and launch them off the launch pad. And then you have the tracking station, which gives you a look at all the spaceships you have currently in orbit around whatever, or just traveling out into the stars. You can actually do that. It obviously requires a lot of fuel, but you know. So, what we're going to be doing today is I don't actually know. Probably get into orbit, even though that's really boring and most of you have probably seen that already. But I don't want to start off with anything too major because I can't do most of those major things myself. So I do have this the rover mod installed. I forgot what it's called, but it should be in the description. And I could build rovers to land on various planets. And I also have MechJeb, which I'm not going to be using. That's just there for another save file I have where I just mess around and build spaceships and stuff. But currently I'm just going to... I also have the Keythane mod, which I might use at some point. I don't know. If you're noticing something similar about all these, is that they're all mods. A YouTuber named Scott Manley showcased. That's basically where I learned how to play this game, so thank you, Scott Manley, for that. Doubt he's gonna even know about this video, but I guess that's okay. So what I've done here is I've added a decoupler and an SAS module. The decoupler, well, I'll start with the decoupler. The decoupler does exactly what it says on the tin and just decouples these. The SAS is sort of a stability thing. It keeps your positioning, I guess. That's RCS. RCS you use to control larger ships. This ship's probably not going to need RCS that much, but I'm going to put it on there anyway. And then what I'm going to do is put this, and then this. There's also these bigger engine parts, which you can see here, and this big engine, which consumes a lot of fuel, but is really efficient. It also bounces around a lot, and you also have this, which doesn't consume a lot of fuel, but isn't very powerful. It also is, as the game says, mostly harmless, even though it's an atomic rocket motor and propels radioactive exhaust. But besides that, it's pretty safe. I'm also gonna add a parachute, which, if you don't know what a parachute is, I don't know what to do about that. I'm gonna add 2. Ooh, frame rate dropped down to 30 FPS. Oh well. I don't need more than 30 anyway. This game does have some performance issues. It is in alpha, so I'm actually going to switch this engine over to this thrust vectoring. Thrust vectoring engines allow easier turning when you're turning when the engine is throttled up. I'm also going to add these fuel rods, so this middle fuel tank doesn't actually expend any fuel, which is very useful if you want to get to certain places that you need a fuel engine for. And oh, that's keythane. I might remove the keythane mod because I don't really understand how it works. What is this? It's a mech jeb part, but I don't know what it does. That's that thing for the rover. And I'm gonna add some struts. Struts are cool. Just like bow ties. God. You're probably gonna hear a lot of Doctor Who references when I'm talking. If you don't know what Doctor Who is, pause this video. If you have like Netflix or something, go watch Doctor Who. No, I'm not gonna have that strut there. I don't need that. So yeah, we shall name it Orbiter 1, I suppose. Why not? And to the launch pad we go. Excuse me. So throttle up, SAS on, and that's bouncing around a bit, but oh, I think the engine just came off there. Let's see. Yeah, it just came off. God damn, engine's always falling off. So what you do to combat that is add these, which hold it above the ground so your engines don't fall off from too much mass around them. And let's add this to the proper staging. And let's go. Let's go. Throttle up. Throttle up. There you go. There's a second of lag when you get onto the launch pad. I feel like I'm missing something. I guess because I'm used to making landers, which have like a bunch of other parts to them. Yeah. So anyway, in 3, 2, 1, lift up. Ow. Lift off. I don't know what happened there. But either way. So it didn't actually show the entire solar system earlier. There's all these planets. We have Moo, Eve, Kerbin, Duna, Drace or Dress, I don't really know, Jewel, and Elo. Elo is the newest planet. I will explain them once I get into an orbit. Hey, there's the moon. That's our target for next episode. The moon. 'Cause the moon's cool. I like the moon. The moon's actually not the easiest planet to land on, by the way. I will show you what the easiest one to land on is. Especially now with the maneuver nodes, which I'm going to be using because I don't know how to do without them. I should start a gravity turn about now. Right about there, right on the 90 degree. Right there. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. I have a bit of a cold right now, I think. At least an oncoming cold. But, you know, it happens. It's winter. I shall get rid of those. And this engine will hopefully get me up into a high enough thing, high enough apoapsis. And so this is how it is every time you want to get into an orbit. It's only been 2 minutes, but it's still just so dull. You do really nothing. I should open that up. I'm gonna wait till that hits. How much fuel have I got left? Actually, that might be. All right. Alright, I'm gonna wait till that hits 100 meters and stop. I've still got plenty of fuel. I don't know why I checked it like that, but I did. So, and let's see. That's obviously not a good orbit. 98, 107. I'm not very good with getting these maneuver nodes pinpoint accurate anyway. So, even when they do somewhat work out in my favor, 100 and 101. There you go. When I do get the maneuver itself to actually cooperate, I usually don't actually burn properly enough to yeah, see, with this rocket I didn't even need RCS. I was able to turn with no problems without it. And see right down there where it says 1 minute, there's time warp, time acceleration, whatever you want to call it. So you don't have to wait the actual time, which is pretty good if you ask me. I'm gonna wait till I get a bit closer to my FOS. And I'm gonna burn now, I believe. This is just totally guessing, by the way. So don't like think that you should get up to the apoapse or whatever, like that exact distance from the apoapse or whatever. So I can mostly land on things, most things. The planet I was recently trying to land on was Trace, and I wasn't actually able to land on it because I completely got my timing wrong. Yeah, this is what I mean by I'm not very good at maneuver nodes. This probably isn't going to be a perfect 100 by 100 orbit. I should try to follow this a bit. Ah! Wow, I forgot to turn SAS on. Alright, you know what? That's good enough. That's usually what happens. I get it somewhat close to each other. Even if it's like an elliptical orbit beyond, like, it could be like 290 and I'd be fine with it. I really don't care. So anyway, right there, Minmus is a tiny moon on an eccentric orbit. It's like it's not too bad. I don't exactly know the exact degrees, but it's actually pretty easy to get to. Once you get the maneuver nodes down, you can easily get there. I'll focus back on this. And the reason it's easier to get to than, say, the moon, which is obviously closer, is it has lower gravity, because it's obviously smaller. Like, look how tiny it is. So tiny! And, and then the moon is obviously around the size of the moon in real life, I would assume. And, yeah, so it has a lot lower gravity, so it's a lot easier to land on. Anyway, so we're in orbit. I'm gonna show you guys all the planets. So Moho, I think, no, not the smallest planet. I think Elo is the smallest planet. This is Moho. It's the little sort of Mercury sort of planet. So tiny. And it's on a pretty. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. If you look at its orbit, it's on an eccentric orbit as well. Funny story, I was actually aiming for Eve once when I was trying to fly a ship to Eve, and I got so aggravated that I couldn't actually get an intercept, so I just went for Moho, and I was actually able to, but I think my ship ran out of fuel or something, and I crashed into the surface, which sucks. So here's Eve. It's a big purple planet. It's actually the hardest planet to. It's easy to land on because it has a thick atmosphere, and you could easily use a parachute, and the atmosphere itself will slow down enough so you can get an easy landing. Problem is, it has a thick atmosphere. That means it's really hard to launch from it because of the thick atmosphere and high gravity. It's almost exact to Kerbin in that respect. And then its moon is Gilly, which is the tiny little asteroid. That is it's actually the smallest thing in the entire game. That's pretty cool. I've never landed on Gilly. I've attempted. Actually, no, I haven't actually attempted either. Then there's Duna, which is sort of Mars. I like Mars, so... yeah, it's pretty much Mars. It has an atmosphere. You can't really see it from the map, but it does have an atmosphere, and it's also, because it has an atmosphere, it's pretty easy to actually get to and land on. And then it has the moon Ike, which is this little tiny asteroid thing. And then we have Drace, whatever, which is... It used to be the smallest planet until they added Elo, I believe. It's actually smaller than the moon, so it's once you get an intercept, it's pretty easy to land on because of its low gravity. And then I'm gonna skip over Jewel for now because Jewel is just insane. And then there's Elo, this little snowball of a planet. It's sort of like Pluto, I guess. There's not much to it. The reason I wanted to skip over Jewel is because I like Jewel. Because, first of all, it's a gas giant. It's the only one in the game. And, you can't actually land on it. You try to land on it and your ship explodes when you get past sea level. And it also has, how many moons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moons. 5 moons. Lathe, which actually has an atmosphere, and is mostly covered in water, which, I know there's a reason behind it actually being able to be water this far away from the sun. I mean, theoretically, it should be ice, but, there is an actual reason, but I don't know why. And then there's Val, this little, Val, whatever, this little, I guess this would be ice. I don't know. I'm just sort of guessing. And then Tylo, which is actually another planet that's pretty hard to land on because it actually doesn't have an atmosphere, but it has Kerbin. It has about the same gravity as Kerbin. So there's no atmosphere to actually slow you down when you're trying to land on it. And you can't use parachutes or anything like that. And using all that fuel to actually land on it and then get off of it is pretty difficult. There's Bop. Bop is a little tiny asteroid. Another little tiny asteroid. There's a few of those in this game, I've realized. Then there's the final moon, Pole. Pole? Yeah. This other tiny... It looks like it could have, like, I don't know, I'm just saying words at this point. So, trying to make myself sound, smart, but I'm really not. And so we're going back to Kerbin. And before we get back to the planet, I would like to show EVA. EVA, you get out of your little command pod, and you could actually drift through space. You also have this little jetpack. You also have these lights, which is also nice. Ooh, no, down. I'm always scared of using EVA, and this is why. Oh god. I actually got into orbit around Minmus using EVA. I did cheat and put on infinite EVA, but either way, it's still pretty impressive. I find it hilarious that you could actually do that. Let's try not to fly past. Just trying to get in it before I run out of EVA fuel. There you go. See, that's why I don't like EVA. I like it when you're landing when you're actually on a planet. That's why that way there's some gravity to stop you from drifting out into the void. But anyway, we're gonna land now. I just passed my Harry-apps, so I guess I'll try to go for the Apo-apps and pull that down, spin myself around to the thingy, the target node, and time warp. Sadly, you can only time warp 50 times faster than normal speed when you're here, when you're like this low. Dun. I love this music. I don't know why, I just love it. Let's start burning. And landing on Kerbin is pretty easy because you just deploy a parachute, and that's really it. I want to sort of land on land, indeed. What I can do at this point is probably dislodge this whole big thing. Really, what would you, obviously in real life they wouldn't want to just dislodge this entire part and just let it hit the ground, because that's obviously a safety hazard as well as wasting a bunch of money. They landed in the ocean. But I could add parachutes to this and have it safely land, but I don't want to do that because it's boring. Anyway, I'll get rid of that, and I shall deploy my parachute. Yeah, once you're inside the atmosphere, you can't actually time warp. You have to do a physical time warp, which you can actually move around in. Oh god. Oh god. Luckily, this pod still has SAS, even when it's, even when there's not an SAS module. It's very minimal SAS. It's only really designed for the pod, nothing else. I'm gonna land in the ocean, I think. Well. Oh well. Oh well. I suppose I could, oh, a bit too early, I guess, to let go of my parachute. There you go. Let's, not go in physical time warp. It has a tendency of ripping the parachute off if you do that. And also, when you enter the atmosphere, there's no music. So that's sort of, it's a cue to tell you that you are in fact in an atmosphere, and then it also gets really lonely because it's like there's nothing there. Some more Kermin. Hey, I did spell Kermin right. That's good. Some more Kermin, if I guess that would it be his name, is freaking out, and this is his view. You can actually see their forehead because it inverts the view. Because like if you see it here, you don't actually see the same thing if you click here. If you look this way, there's his forehead, which is always funny. Throttle up, nothing. Yeah, this is also a pretty boring part. Landing though, incredibly rewarding without actually giving you a reward, which is funny, is also pretty annoying because it's like it takes a while and it's a lot of playing around with throttle until at least we could see those mountains over there. I think we could. Oh no, they're actually going down beyond the horizon. That's upsetting. We landed in the middle of the ocean, which was nowhere near where I wanted to actually land. I hit the water. Oh no, I thought I hit the water. My parachute fully deployed. So, anyway, as some more Kerbin drifts closer and closer to the water, if you like this video, please take a second to like, favorite, or subscribe. It helps a lot, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm actually gonna wait until he lands. So, waiting. You know what? Physical time warp. Takes too long. Too long! And splosh. There you go. We're finally on the surface. Well, the water. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.